This is Elon Musk's $300 million jet collection, and it's got features you couldn't even imagine. But I'm also going to show you how he spends $216 million on his kids, his $80 million neighborhood, his car collection, and so much more. But first, let's start with his shoes, which are so rare. He almost faced 6 months in prison for them, because in 2019, he revealed the Tesla Model Y at the Tesla Design Center in California. But he can't be releasing the best car in history looking like this. He had to wear something so controversial, it's literally illegal in California. Custom 1-of-1 Air Jordan Tesla shoes. It's made of materials like pony hair, red metallic leather, and python leather. But in California, wearing anything from a python is illegal and can land you up to 6 months in jail. But Elon's not trying to risk another lawsuit, so he hasn't been seen wearing them since. Those shoes only costed $1,500 though, which is nothing compared to what he plans to wear on Mars, because in space, time works a little differently, and he had to make sure his wrist game was on point. So he called up Tag Heuer to make him something special, and that's exactly what they gave him. This is the limited edition Carrera 1987 SpaceX, and it was released on the 50th anniversary of the first ever Swiss watch worn in space. But you can buy that watch yourself for $10,000. So while Elon's on Earth, he knew he had to step it up, so not only did he buy an Automart baguette for $50,000, he also bought a Richard Mille for $200,000. Now that's crazy, but his car collection is out of this world. He put his personal $100,000 Tesla Roadster on a rocket that he made and sent it into space. Who does that? He even live-streamed the whole event, and you can track where it is in space right now. And since he's never getting that one back, he just bought another one. But Elon doesn't just own Teslas, because since he's made the first mass-produced electric car, it's only right he owns the first mass-produced gas car too. The 1920 Ford Model T. That car barely works, and it cost him $25,000. But did you know his dream car was also a gas car? When Elon was 17, he saw the Jaguar E-Type in a magazine and instantly fell in love with it. At that point though, Elon was broke like the rest of us.
I had $100,000 in student debt. And because I didn't start the Stanford quarter, that means that I didn't have access to student housing. I lost my student stipend, and I had like $2,000. So more than $100,000 in student debt, and one computer.
But once he made just enough, he bought it immediately. And believe it or not, that car barely works too. And then the first car I bought, a 1967 Series 1 E-Type Jag. That broke down on me, caused me all sorts of trouble. In fact, it broke down on the way back from the dealer. Now, $100,000 is a lot for a car that breaks down, but one of his most expensive cars almost cost him his life. Because after Elon made his first bag off PayPal, he leveled up and bought a $1 million McLaren F1. Until one day,
I didn't really know how to drive the McLaren, so I floored it and did a lane change and started spinning. I remember seeing the cars coming towards me while I was going backwards, and then we hit an embankment, which tossed the car into the air like a discus, and we blew the suspension out. All the glass, the wheels, and everything was shredded, and there was massive body damage in the front and rear.
Elon needed a new car, except he wanted something that was even crazier. So we decided he had to buy a car that could literally turn into a submarine. Yeah, this car from James Bond actually works. Elon saw it in a warehouse auction and said, "Yeah, I'll take the fish car." He bought it for $1 million, bringing his total car collection to be worth over $2.8 million. But where the hell is he going to store all these cars though? Well, maybe in the entire neighborhood he bought, full of mansions in Bel Air. At first, he just bought one house, like any average person. Except that it was worth 17 mil. This mansion's got 7 bedrooms, a gym, a spa, a tennis court. I mean, this place even has its own movie theater. And he liked the place so much, he decided to get 6 more of them. Rose really got 7 houses with gyms, and still looks like Peter Griffin. And all those mentions are pretty much the same, except for one. 'Cause Elon straight up bought Willy Wonka's house, which looks normal on the outside, but it's got some weird stuff on the inside. That's a real quirky house, yeah? All the cabinets are like odd shapes. There's like doors to nowhere and car doors and tunnels and odd paintings on the wall. Elon wasn't trying to live in that creepy-ass house, so obviously, he turned it into a school for his kids. Let's look at the physics and economics of a rocket. I mean, I'm not gonna question one of the richest men in the world, cause he's the one who can afford an $80 million neighborhood. All that Tesla money must be nice. So you know the boy to get a diamond Tesla ring to celebrate. And Elon usually isn't one to flex diamonds, but since it was gifted by Ben Baller, he let it slide. He has bought one piece of jewelry though, except it wasn't for himself. Straight from his father's emerald mine, he gifted this green emerald on a 14-karat gold necklace to his college girlfriend. And after they broke up, he probably wasn't hurt like I'd be after spending $50K on it. But his second wife got millions. Because once Elon found out how much girls care about rings, he splashed on 3 different engagement rings for his new girl. The first ring he bought was 100 bands. But since Elon was making hundreds of millions, she roasted him for being cheap. So to make up for it, he bought her a ring worth $300,000, and to surprise, that was only the ring for everyday use. He also bought her a ring for special occasions which had 10 sapphires and a diamond so big, it cost him $1 million, bringing the total he spent on jewelry to $1.5 million. Clearly Elon didn't give about spending that bag either, because he divorced her 2 years later and slid her $16 million for the trouble. But what if I told you spending way more on his kids? The average parent spends about $300K total on their kid, but Elon's kids definitely aren't average. They go to private school and fly in his private jet for vacations, which racks up to about $1 million per year. So this man is at least spending $24 million on just one kid. But dude has 9 kids, making his total check around $216 million. Now that's expensive, but he probably doesn't care when he's buying multiple jets. Elon couldn't stand just owning one jet, so of course, he bought 5 of them. His first jet cost him $26 million, and it's got your typical recliner seats, dining room, and bedroom. But he bought this before he became a billionaire. So once he leveled up from M's to B's, he couldn't be seen flying around the same tiny jet as Taylor Swift. Nah, he saw billionaire Mark Cuban own a Gulfstream G550 and had to one-up him. So, he copped 2 of them for $62 million each. But it wasn't long until a newer model came out, the G650, and the difference between them is insane. On the G650, there's one extra seat, that's it. That's the only difference, just like how you buy the new iPhone that's the same as your old one. Billionaires do that, but with private jets, except instead of paying $1,000, billionaires dropped $75 million, and recently Elon dropped another $75 million on the newest Gulfstream G700. Can you guess what the difference between those are? I'll give you a hint. You know they keep making the iPhones a little bigger each year. Yep, they pretty much just made the plane a little bit bigger. When you're worth over $200 billion though, spending $300 million on jets ain't a big deal. But Elon's biggest purchase might be the biggest flex ever. Because for normal people, when they don't like how an app works, they just uninstall it. But when you're Elon Musk, you just straight up buy it. Because when Twitter was censoring tons of people, Elon decided to take a little break from getting us to Mars to make sure we still got free speech. And even though Twitter was losing billions of dollars, he bought it anyway. I mean, imagine having so much money that you don't even care if you lose billions. Because he paid way more than he needed to. Literally for the memes. One of Elon's favorite memes is 420. So he decided to buy all the shares of the company at $54.20. Dude must have been high when he agreed to that deal. It's been estimated that he overpaid by $19 billion, bringing the total to purchase this failing bird app to $44 billion. But it looks like Elon's trying to turn the app around. Because recently, Elon rebranded Twitter to X, and he said he's going to turn it into a super app. And if it's anything like China's WeChat, X could be worth upwards of $80 billion.